Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do just a chatty get ready with me trying new makeup. I have a bunch of products that I purchased from the Sephora VIB sale that I want to try on camera. Some of them I've tried a couple times off camera and I can give you my thoughts, and then I want to demo them for you. So I have the Fenty Beauty cream blushes. I really want to demo these, show you how I apply them, tell you my thoughts. I've only tried, I believe, 2 shades out of the 4 that I picked up. I have the Kosas Baked Bronzer. I used this yesterday for the first time. So I really want to try it on camera, give you my thoughts. Of course, I've only used it once. I have some new thoughts on the Patrick Ta Major Brow. I want to demo this and tell you what I'm thinking about it. I have the new ABH Lash Brag Mascara. Used this yesterday, want to tell you my thoughts as well. Also from Beautylish, I picked up the Wayne Goss products. So I have 2 lip liners, a lipstick, and a lip gloss. So I thought that I could demo these. I used the lip liner and the lip gloss yesterday. Again, just trying to get a feel for the products. Also picked up the Surratt Dewdrop Foundation. And then I thought I would do a nice kind of neutral look with this Scott Barnes palette. I picked this up, but I never used it on camera. So I thought I would do just something neutral on the eyes. And we will just try all these products out. So if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe, and let's go ahead and begin. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with skin prep, and I am partnering with BeautyStat for this portion of the video. So thank you to them for sponsoring this video. If you guys have been following me, you know that I've been using one vitamin C serum for over a year now. You can look back on my videos. I really have not used a skincare product this long. It's really hard for me to find something that works, that doesn't break me out, that doesn't create redness, irritate, stuff like that. And I have found it in this BeautyStat Vitamin C Serum. It's called the Universal C Skin Refiner, but this has done wonders for my skin. Another cool thing about this is it has an encapsulated delivery system. It almost has these little particles, and you really want to work it into the skin. You can feel it tingle. That keeps it stable, it keeps it from oxidizing, and it keeps it powerful. Vitamin C is very hard to keep stable. So having it in this component and that kind of particle formula, it really works in the skin when you use it. So I love that it plays well under makeup as well. This is what it looks like. It is fragrance free, which is a huge thing for me. So I usually use 1 to 2 pumps morning and night. And as I said, you can feel it tingling when you apply it. It has dramatically reduced my texture, number 1. Number 2, it really helps with my acne. I've had some issues with acne breakouts, specifically cystic, and I realized that they were diet-based. It was like energy drinks, supplements, high protein, soy. So once I stopped, ingesting those things, this is really gonna help get rid of the bumps, get rid of the dark spots. It's really gonna brighten and smooth my skin. So I do have a 50% off code if you wanna check out BeautyStat. This is originally $80 and you can get it 50% off. Harper's Bazaar recently did name this one of the best vitamin C serums on the market. So to celebrate that, the code is Harper's Bazaar 50. I will leave all the information down below, but this is the highest discount they offer. I highly recommend this product, as you've seen me mention it in multiple videos, sponsored or not, and you guys always DM me asking me for a code. So this is the code. I will link everything down below. Thank you to BeautyStat for working with me on this video, and let's go ahead and continue on with the tutorial. So now I'm gonna go ahead and moisturize. I've been really enjoying my Freck moisturizer. I can't get over how big this component is. I just feel like I'm never gonna go through this. It's just so huge. So I'm really gonna focus this on the outer parts of the face. This is just so hydrating. It's not fragrance free, but it's very lightly fragranced and it doesn't irritate. So for my T-zone, I'm gonna use my Smashbox Oil and Shine Control Primer. I really like this just to keep me matte during the day. And also it does smooth just a little bit. It's like a gel texture. So it kind of does both things, which I like. For foundation, I picked up this Surratt Dewdrop Foundation. I saw Risa Does Makeup use it. When it first came out, I was interested, but I thought it had no coverage. From what I was hearing, it was very sheer. And because I have general redness and because I self-tan my body and not my face, sheer is very hard for me because it's not like I can spot conceal my entire redness. Because the shade is too light, I'm gonna go ahead and mix it with another foundation I have. I did go ahead and order the right shade of this, but I really dislike this component. So So this is what the component looks like, and sometimes it oozes out of there. And then there's a button on the bottom that you push to dispense it. The problem is the button is so hard to push. I don't even have nails, and I have to use my thumb to get it out. So I just pushed the little dispenser button. I find that my thumb is the easiest, and you can see this shade will be like my no self tanner shade, which I have self tanner on, so it's not gonna work. So I did about 2 pushes with this, and then I'm gonna mix in some of my Urban Decay. This is 41 NN. I'm just gonna do a pump of that. So it's about half and half, just because the shade is not gonna work for me right now, and I wanna film with it today. I did this yesterday, and it looked gorgeous. When I first saw reviews, everybody was saying it was very sheer, and I was like, okay, I don't want to spend all that money on a foundation that's sheer because I need coverage. And to me, the coverage on this, granted, I'm mixing it with the Urban Decay, so I can't tell for sure, but even just watching Risa's video, she was shocked by the coverage as well. I think that it's more similar to like the Wet n Wild Cushion foundation, which I love. So it's not super high coverage, but you can build it to medium. So I'm gonna use a beauty blender for this, and I was just really impressed with the way that it looked yesterday, so much so that I went ahead, like I said, and bought excuse me, I bought a deeper shade. So I can at least mix them or use this one for when I'm not tanned and then use the deeper one for when I am. It wore really nicely. I was really surprised. I felt that it was very smooth on the skin. Even like now, being that it's not set, it looks quite smooth on the skin. So I don't know if it's just the mixture or if it's the Surat. So I'm just gonna pump out a little bit more. I found that finding the shades were kind of difficult. I wouldn't say that it's an overly dewy foundation, which is kind of interesting because it's called the Dew Drop Foundation. I like the way it looks. It's not like matte, dry down, super heavy. So I feel like this would be a beautiful summer option. So this is what the foundation looks like, and I feel like it just looks nice and healthy. I really just enjoy the finish of it, and I feel like it's not gunking or looking like it's going to emphasize my texture. I'm gonna go in with my Dose of Colors concealer. I have the shade 13. This is described as a light medium, and when I first apply it, it looks too light, but it actually is, it kind of oxidizes, which usually I would not enjoy, but it works for me with this. So it oxidizes a little bit, so it's not so really bright, and it doesn't give me like kind of that white under eye, and I really enjoy this formula. You guys know I love the foundation as well. Dose of Colors is one of those brands I feel like I like most of their products. So I don't know if you can see, but this has oxidized, which usually I would dislike that, but because of the shade I got, it works for me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set the face with my Huda Beauty Pound Cake. I adore this. I actually cut the mesh out because it was just hard for me to get the product. So I don't love the packaging, but I just go ahead and dip my sponge in there and grab a good amount of product. I like to be a little bit heavier around my T-zone area just to prevent any creasing. So I did want to ask how you guys are doing with this quarantine situation. I am kind of a mess. I feel like I'm doing a little bit better. I did consult with my doctor. We had a Zoom call and we adjusted some things. So I'm hoping I'm on the up and up, but I've found that not watching the news helps me, but I do find that I'm on social media a lot and it gives me a little bit of anxiety. It does make me feel, I'm gonna be 100% real, because I feel like sometimes I stick to just the makeup, but I wanna connect with you guys. I do find myself comparing myself to other influencers, you know, that are working out and eating perfect and filming, you know, 5 videos a week, and they just look so happy, you know, dancing on TikTok, like all those things. And I feel like I suck. I do. I feel like, wow, I am just not meant for this job. Sometimes I do get really hard on myself, and whenever I post a video and I comment with you guys, whether it's about makeup or whatever it is, it lifts my spirits and I miss it. Like, I want to post twice a week and I want to connect with you guys, I just don't feel like me. I feel like a hot mess. And then, you know, you mix in all the stressors, and then you mix in like what's going on with the news. And I think just like even just Twitter, Instagram, everything, I find myself feeling less than, like I'm not good enough, and just other things going on too. But I just wanted to say that like I love connecting with you guys, and I wish that I could just let go of stuff. Like I feel like I need to like lock my phone away for, you know, a couple hours a day just to like regroup, because when I see other things, it really brings me down, and I feel like I'm having a hard time. I never want to, I don't know. I just can't fake it. Not that I never want to, I can't. Like I'm just not an actress. So if I can't turn it on for the camera, I'm not gonna try just to be funny or whatever it is. So it is what it is. I'm using a little bit of this powder. This is Benefit powder. I love this powder, but I think they discontinued it just to hit the outer portions. So I make sure that everything is set. Anyways, I just wanted to update you on where my headspace is. So I don't know. There's been a couple things that I've been enjoying, which this sounds really weird, but I like UFC, which that seems weird. And I'm like, I never thought I would, but I do enjoy it. And so Ian and I do watch that, and it's coming back now. They're doing like no crowd. It's just kind of like the fighters and their teams. So I've been watching that, and that's come back, and that's kind of just giving me something to look forward to on the weekends. I just have a hard time like looking forward to anything, because I'm like, you can't go to events, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to concerts. You know, I don't know. I was an introvert, but I'm kind of like, I like to go to my normal places. And now that I can't go anywhere, it's like, I don't know, it's like mind fucking me, because it's like for the whole year, I feel like this is how it's gonna be. Like, I don't think people realize, or some people don't realize, that this isn't just gonna go away. So we're gonna have to adapt and learn how to live with this. And it's just a really kind of sad thing, just because I don't know. I miss my family. I don't know about you guys. So on another note, before we get into brows, I was having the biggest breakouts from Monsters and Bang energy drinks, and even Alani Nu, and I love the taste of those. So I was like on the hunt, because I don't like coffee. I know most people start their day with coffee, and I'm like, ugh, I hate coffee. And I found these Celsius drinks. I saw, I can't remember her name, but an Instagrammer posted about these. These are supposed to be healthier, and I like the sparkling ones. So these are 0 sugar, no preservatives, and it's just supposed to be like a caffeine drink that tastes good. Now, I don't think they taste as good as the Bang or the Monsters, but they're pretty close. So I've tried 3 flavors. The orange, which I thought was good. Then there was the sparkling raspberry, which I thought was fine. And then I actually do like this kiwi guava. It's my first time. So anyway, since I've been drinking these, I haven't been breaking out. So it's like the only energy drink that I can drink. So yay for me, because I found something. I was literally on the hunt, because I was like, I just felt so tired, you know? And it's like life without caffeine. I don't know. And I'm not a pop drinker or a soda drinker. So to me, it's 10 calories for the whole can, and it doesn't make me feel jittery. It doesn't make me crash, and it tastes pretty good, and it doesn't break me out. I got you zoomed in, and I feel like I have a booger. Hold on. Okay, I have you zoomed in, and we're gonna start on brows. This is the new Shaping Wax Major Brow from Patrick Ta. So I have some thoughts on this. I've used it, I wanna say 3 times, and my thoughts have changed. So I got the clear, the brown or the tinted was out of stock, and here's my thoughts. I've seen some people have lifting. Again, Risa does makeup, and it kind of worried me. I've used it 3 times and I have no lifting. I would say less is more with the setting spray. Even if you've seen Patrick Ta use it and he douses it, I mean, I just wouldn't do that. So when I use this, I spray 1 spray of setting spray right in the center, very close to it, so it's not like getting all over the component, and then I use my spoolie to activate it. So he does recommend wetting it. You can use water, a setting spray, whatever, but I would not go in with like 2, 3, 4 sprays. There's a learning curve to this, is kind of what I'm saying. So I've had luck with using this Sephora coconut spray. They discontinued this, why I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray 1 spray into the component. I can't even show you because the camera literally won't focus, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a spoolie. This is just a spoolie from a LA Girl pencil. Let's see if you can see the product on there. It's really hard to show because everything's clear, so I hope you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this to really lift the brow, and I'll show you the difference. Now, I have noticed a little bit of kind of flaking, or that kind of white coloring. And from what I've heard, the brown doesn't have that. I don't need to re-wet it. So for me, I have found that one spray is enough, and I didn't get it all over the component because I held the spray so close to it. It literally is just, see that flaking? It just is in the center, so it's not even touching the corners. The texture on this feels very similar to the Iconic London. I mean, very, very similar. So I go ahead and brush this up. You can see that it definitely does brush up. I mean, the same that any soap brow product would. So I let that sit for a minute, and the key, and I think the biggest takeaway from this product and just watching Patrick Ta use this, is that he uses a brush. You can use whatever brush you have, and he really flattens the hairs to the skin. If you have darker hair, it would be much more intense. Okay, so brows are filled in, and I'm gonna go back into the Patrick Ta. I don't even think I'm gonna wet my brush or my spoolie. I'm just gonna get a tiny bit of product to really just finalize and, okay, hold on. Finalize and kind of lift everything. I can just use the end cap of this. You can use anything that you have to really stick the hairs down. All right, so let's move on to eyeshadow. I have the Scott Barnes Snatchural palette. I think that's what it's called. I think I'm gonna start off with this shade right here. I don't even know if this shade will show up. We shall see. So I'm just applying this to the outer edge of the eye. Shade a little bit light. I'm actually gonna go into this shade down here. So this shade looks like it has a little bit of a shimmer in it. It's almost like matte with glitter. I almost feel like I forget how to do eyeshadow. That's like how much eyeshadow I've been doing. Basically none. I just feel like for every day, I am not an eyeshadow type of person. So what shows have you guys been loving? We have loved Dead to Me we watched season 1 and then we watched season 2. And we like binged it because it's just so easy. It's like funny but dramatic, keeps you on your toes. It's a really interesting show. The humor's like dark. I feel like the actors are just like, well, the actresses are just like perfect for the role. I feel like I always have a patchiness over here. I'm like, do I need to tweeze my brows or what's going on? Right there. I had this yesterday too. I'm like, what is that? That is so weird. So I also started the 90 Day Fiancé. I know everybody talks about that. And I, at first, was like, this is so sad, and I still believe that it's very sad. I'm gonna go into the shade Brick House, by the way. So what I mean by sad is like some of the delusion of these people. I am like, oh my gosh, like they are, you know, they just get like used for money or whatever it is. And I'm like, you guys, like, how do you, like, they're like, we've been talking for 5 years and we've never met, and I've tried to meet 3 times and she's canceled every time, but she loves me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, could you imagine having somebody in your life that you love that is like getting taken, you know, over the internet, not necessarily by a catfish, but just somebody that like wants to use them for money and has no intent of meeting them? It's like so sad. I don't know. And then you have like these old dudes like going after really young women, and it's like, it's like a weird dynamic, and I'm like, what in the hell? But it's like, so it's like a train wreck. You can't stop watching it, but you're just like, I find myself screaming through the screen like, leave this chick, like she doesn't like you, or like the women, like, ew, like the USA ain't worth this, honey. You know what I mean? Like, I've been seeing the new season all over Twitter. I haven't watched that one yet. And like the scenes of that one guy, I don't know. If you watch it, you probably know who I'm talking about. I'm like, this guy is a freaking weirdo. Like, what? So anyways, I've only watched a few seasons, but the dysfunction of it all, it's very sad, but it's just like a train wreck. So for the lid, I'm gonna go in with Hollywood. This looks really pretty. I'm just using this dry. My bulldog is snoring downstairs, living his best. So I just wet a brush to intensify. So I picked up a little bit of the light shade Laced up here, and I just want to try to like very lightly pop this right in the center and kind of bring it up to give me more of that spotlight. So I went ahead and did just a line on the top of my lash line. This is the M Cosmetics brush tip liner in brown, and I want to do brown because I've been doing black so much. I love M Cosmetics. You guys know I'm obsessed with that brand. So now I want to try out the ABH Lash Brag mascara. I got the mini. My friend Cheryl, you know, I always reference her, but she told me this was amazing. So before I put on false lashes, I'm gonna go ahead and see what this is all about. I did curl my lashes. Oh, wow. Anything that shows my lashes, I'm impressed by. Not bad. So my first impression on that is it's not a super wet formula. It kind of glides on, which I like. It's not gonna transfer on me, which I don't really have that issue anyways, but it definitely did give me some length and a little bit of volume. So I'm quickly gonna go off camera and apply these lashes. These are Ash from Lashaholics. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Risque. Start blending this on the outer edge of the eye. And then I'm gonna go in to deepen it with Brick House. I'm gonna use a Rephr number 3 brush. I'm trying out these brushes and they're really nice. So this is like a pencil brush. It's very pointy. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do to finish off the eyes, but I wanna go into the face, and I'm gonna start off with my Dior Backstage Contour Palette. And I'm gonna use a Rephr number 4. It's like a slightly angled brush. I'm gonna use this just to contour a little bit, and I'm mixing this shade with like a dab of the deeper shade. I really just wanna add some dimension to my skin before I go in with that Kosas bronzer, because the bronzer is very shimmery. These brushes are so nice. They feel like the really expensive brushes I have from Beautylish. They just are so incredibly soft. There's just a difference you can feel. So now I want to go in to the Kosas bronzer. I have the shade Medium. This product, when you touch your brush into it one time, it picks up a load of product. So definitely tap off and use a light hand. And it has a kind of a smell to it, which I'm not sure. I can't describe what it is, but I mean, it picks up very, very quickly. I don't know if I would recommend this for those who are heavy-handed or beginners. I'm using the lightest pressure, and I'm kind of just sweeping it. Kind of unsure about this bronzer. Don't know if I love it on my forehead. I don't know, we'll have to see, but my first impression is kind of, I'm undecided. I feel like this is more of an everyday sweep and go kind of product. Okay, I'm really excited. I wanna go on to blush. So I have 4 of the Fenty blushes and I've used 2 of them, but I really am kind of undecided. I think I want to go in today with Daiquiri Dip. I always want to say Daiquiri Drip, but this is the bright red shade. So I found that I really like using this IT Cosmetics contour brush. This is one of these sets. You can see there's some residue on there. These are very sheer, but they build up. Now this one seems to be a little bit more pigmented. So I'm kind of gonna rub my brush in the pan. Yeah, this one seems more pigmented, and I'm gonna kind of work it on the back of my hand and start to stipple. So I'm not swiping because I don't want to disrupt my foundation. I feel like I want to zoom you in a little bit. So I find that a very light stippling, and you do have to build these up. This one seems more pigmented than the other ones that I used. It's really pretty. And I'm going to go for a heavy blush look. I mean, when do I not? The fact that I can use these over powders is key for me. If I can't, I just know myself, I won't mess with it. So I'm gonna kind of pull this over the nose. So for highlighter, I'm gonna use Benefit Cookie, and I don't have a new highlighter, I don't believe. This is intense. I'm barely even touching my skin. Woo, bitch. So for my inner corner, I do want to try this shade Angelic. It's one of those duochrome kind of pinky shades. I just want to apply in the corners here. And then I'm gonna mix a little bit of laced in just to kind of tone it down, make it more neutral. So I have this ColourPop liner in Crybaby. I'm gonna put this in the waterline. So for lips, I did buy some Wayne Goss stuff and then I ordered a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Essential Lip Liner in Sepia. This is like I would say a cool toned, kind of mauve-y brown shade. So these feel very similar to a MAC pencil. They are a sharpener kind of pencil. They're not like a retractable, and they're long wear, kind of dry feeling. So I like that because it means it's gonna help things to not bleed. They're not very creamy. They're really like an artist pencil, which it makes sense. So this is what the Sepia lip liner looks like. I'm hoping the shade that I have will work. This is Orchid, which looks a little bit warm, but I ordered more. It's on the way, like a more pinky shade. So, ooh, I'm hoping that this all will work. It's a little bit bright for this look. So what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of this Frankie Rose lipstick. I love this. This is in Apricot, and just kind of mesh this in and kind of calm that warmth down. And then I did pick up the gloss. I got the shade Tulip, which is a really light nude shade, and it has a little bit of sparkle in it. It has a minty smell. The applicator is really nice and small. This reminds me very much, the formula and just everything about it reminds me of the Kevyn Aucoin glosses. It has a nice amount of pigment, and I feel like that lip combo works better with what we're doing. So quite impressed with the Wayne Goss products. I just want to get the kind of nuder shade to try, just because this look I feel like calls for a nude, you know, lip. So here's my finished makeup look, and I'm gonna go over all of the products, starting off with the Surratt Dewdrop Foundation. So I do like this. As I said, I ordered another shade. I am shocked at how much I like this. It reminds me of the Wet n Wild Cushion, but a little bit less dewy. The coverage is very similar though, light, buildable to medium, and it wore beautifully yesterday. So I have high hopes. Even though I did mix it, I am curious to try it by itself. I'll just have to wait until my tan goes down or my darker shade comes in, but I really like it just on first impression. The Patrick Ta Major Brow is growing on me, but I will say that I don't think you need this. You can use any brow gel. If you're having a hard time getting the fluffy brows, the tips that I can tell you is to work slowly. A lot of the time I see people, including myself, just kind of brush through their brows and they're like, well, it's not working. It's not really fluffing up. But for me, I found that really wiggling very slowly and kind of sticking the brow straight up and then using that technique from Patrick Ta where you use your brush to really like stick it to your skin, that helps a lot. So this product is nice. I don't dislike it. I'm not going to return it, but I would say less setting spray is more, meaning that you don't want to saturate this with 3 or 4 sprays and get it all over. 1 spray is enough, and I do like it. I just don't know if it's going to replace my M Cosmetics brow cream or anything like that. The Scott Barnes palette blended beautifully. I had no issues. I feel like it's just a really nice neutral palette, but you can definitely get smoky. I'm really drawn to these 2 shades in here, but obviously today I wanted to go warm with my look. The shimmers are really nice because they're very thin textured. They're not thick and chunky, and they're just really metallic. So I really like this so far. It's just a nice neutral palette. The Kosas bronzer, I'm a little bit undecided on. It's very pigmented and it has a sheen to it. I don't necessarily like it for my forehead. Probably like an added bronzer for me, meaning that I would use a matte bronzer to kind of shape out, or a contour to shape out the skin, and then sweep this over the cheeks or the face really lightly. So I'm not disliking it, but I don't know if I'm blown away. I just have to keep using it. I think, again, it would be better for a natural makeup look, not full glam with lashes and everything like that. I also think it's very pigmented, so you can put your brush in it and go way overboard. So make sure that you're tapping your brush in one time and then really tapping it off, because it's very pigmented and it can get kind of muddy. I absolutely adore these Fenty blushes, and I didn't think that I liked them at first because I felt like it was a little bit patchy, but the key to it is just building, stippling and building with a light hand. I have the shade Crush on Cupid, which I've tried, which is a little bit of like a magenta pink. I have to say my favorite is the one I use today, Daiquiri Dip. I mean, I just feel like it looks so beautiful. The fact that I can use these over powder. They're very similar to the Tower 28, but they're a little bit more stiff and a little bit more sheer. The Tower 28 is like that. You dip in and you have pigment. This is buildable, which could be better for beginners. I still want to use Fuego Flush, which has shimmer in it. I almost used it today, but once I put that pink in, I thought that this would, or the Daiquiri Dip would look better. And then I have to say my most reached for is Strawberry Drip. It's just a lighter coral pink, so more for every day. But my impression on these is great. I think they're beautiful. You can use them over powder if you're struggling and you're like, oh, I'm a powder type of girl. Definitely try it over powder. Use a stippling brush or use a sponge and really just kind of tap it on and build it up. The ABH Lash Brag Mascara, I like it. I had a lot of eye makeup on today, so it's kind of not the best day for me to try it out. I really need to try it on a day when I have no eye makeup on so that I can tell what it looks like and how much length and volume I'm actually getting. I have to say I'm quite impressed with the Refer brushes. I've been using them off camera, and then obviously I demoed some of them today. These feel extremely high-end, extremely luxe. They are so soft. I don't know how to describe it, but there's just a feel to them. You can definitely see the elevation in quality. I would say brushes like this, I tend to prefer the face brushes because I feel like these just effortlessly blend, you know, blush, contour, bronzer, products like that. The face brushes, you can really feel a difference, and I just feel like they blend beautifully. So I'll link these down below, but I'm really impressed with these. Moving on to the Wayne Goss collection. So the lip pencil, I really like, Sepia. I wish there was a little bit more deeper nude brown tones. I know everything was kind of like pinky toned, or a lot of the things in the collection, but I like the formula. It's very easy to use, and it's not going to be one that's going to slip and slide like the ColourPop. Those just really slide all over and I have no control. This is very much like a MAC pencil, and I think the price point is like $14, which I don't think is bad. The lipstick feels so nice. It reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury formula. Very creamy, not dry, doesn't skip. And the shade I have here is Orchid, but as I said, I ordered another shade. So I like that these can kind of be built up. So there's one swipe and then a few. So you don't have to go, you know, full like chalky pigment, and they're so hydrating. I mean, if you have dry lips, I think you would love this. And then the gloss I really like. The component, everything about this, the color reminds me of Kevyn Aucoin, and these have nice pigment as well. There's a minty smell to them. So here is the shade. I like that there's pigment. I cannot stand when brands come out with like 10 lip glosses and they all are literally clear. I'm like, what is the point of all these shades? So I like that this has pigment. It feels nice on the lips. It's not super sticky. It's kind of right in the middle where it's not going to slide off like a lip oil, but it's not super sticky like a MAC lip gloss. It's kind of the best of both worlds. So that concludes this trying new makeup get ready with me. I hope you guys saw some products you were interested in action, and don't forget to check out BeautyStat Vitamin C Serum. I will link it down below, as well as everything else in this video. So happy to be back. Hopefully more videos coming your way. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.